Hey, today we're going to talk about our hot tent setup, what it was like sleeping in there, and practical uses, and all our opinions.
Hey, free spirits, Wendy and Dave here. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. This is our backyard campsite setup. So if you're new, this is our surroundings here. We come to you from Central Alabama. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day today. It's going to be like 85 or something. We have been making videos just because we're new at camping. Whoops. And we've been just sharing the gear and stuff that we've been gathering along the way. And really, we're going to go camping one of these days, someplace besides our backyard. But yeah, we've been just experiencing things here in the backyard and with our dog here and getting used to all of our stuff. So, it's just beautiful here this morning. So I wanted to show you guys and share with you our real experiences with our Nomad stove. And we love it. It works great. And I'm gonna have Dave show like how he set it up, what he did, and then we'll share our probably our one and only night that we slept in it. We did do one short video because we were so tired. I did one short video with it burning.
which I might be able to link here. It's a short.
It's just a short because anyway, we were getting ready to go to sleep anyway, so we crawled in bed and wanted to come back and share with you during the daylight how we set it up and all that.
Yep. So we had another video cutting out the baffling, and now we're going to show you what it looks like all together. And come join us as we enter our private tent area.
Which everything's kind of in between anyway, no matter. Hang on. Come on in, everybody. I took off there's the famous zip, right? I always wonder what it sounds like at a campground with everybody zipping. Oh, here we come. Hang on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right. And it's actually, I just unzipped everything, so it is really, actually right now, pretty warm. So Dave's sitting on our air mattress here.
So this is the Winnerwell Nomad Large. You could see how it's hooked up. Now the tent is not perfectly level, so things are a little out of whack, but it still works fine.
And boy, does it work fine. It works really well. Now we haven't cooked on it yet because we set it up that quick.
Not in the tent, we haven't cooked.
Yeah, right. We have not cooked it on it in the tent. So, hang on just a second. I'm gonna pause. Turn this around. Cutting Dave's head up. Okay, we're gonna be kind of quick here. We did open the windows. This is our tent. If you haven't seen it, Skyliner. We did a couple videos on the tent itself and all that. So I just wanted to show you guys. But it's really hot in here, so we don't want to wait too long.
So we have the little wood carrier. There's a couple pieces of wood left, and we'll talk about all that. But you're going to need to bring wood in and feed the fire. I've since cleaned out most of the ashes, and we'll talk about that later. And all of these things are relevant to actually using and experiencing a hot tent. And this particular one, but in general, it goes for all of them. And we're new to this, so this information actually comes from non-experience, which is perhaps more valuable than an experienced person who doesn't think of all the little things.
Let it be said right now, we have no experience with any of this, and this is our first time. So
here's, you can see how the chimney's hooked up.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share about? You showed a little bit about this part of it, but was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Cutting this out, how it's mounted.
And then what's this?
This is
the flue.
The flue control. This is off. This is full on. Okay. Most of the time, we found it needs to just be full on, but.
So even when it was full on,
well, full on allows the most amount of
airflow. But it was hot.
But
it was hot.
The more airflow, the hotter the fire.
Yeah.
But even adjusting this down didn't really make that much of a difference.
That's what I was wondering.
Now, obviously, you can't close it all the way because it will smoke out
right.
and the fire will go out. So you're really finding the right balance. And experience outside temperature, inside temperature, the type of wood that you're burning, all is going to.
Unless, what was the temperature outside that night? It was only like,
it was in the 40s, low 40s.
So it was chilly.
And we'll talk about
Fahrenheit.
that too.
Fahrenheit.
So let's go outside.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted. Did you mention about the rug as well?
So the kit comes with a fire-resistant pad, which you should always have underneath, and this is fire-resistant as well.
And that came with it as well.
And that came with the kit.
Okay.
And this is the thing that you
it
saw.
It came with the
kit.
The stove kit doesn't come with the tent. It comes with the stove kit.
Right.
That's. I just wanted to
and then
clarify.
Here's the little fancy tool for getting in there and scraping out.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Which worked very well, but we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, we discovered we just need. I think I'm just gonna put a little old baking dish under here just to catch, to make it easier to sweep into there.
So, and we'll talk about that. And then just to show, this comes off.
So you could set something right on top of there, like the kettle. And we do have the other accessories, which we did show in another video, the water reservoir and the oven, which we haven't used either one.
Used those yet.
So,
but let's go outside and see what the outside looks like. And we'll talk about a couple of those things, and then we'll discuss our great adventure of sleeping in the tent.
Our great adventure. As Dave exits the area. So we've got the tent, and then we've got this gazebo right in front of the tent, and our setup in here, which we have left this up, well, probably since the first video when we put it up. I think it's been, we haven't taken it down yet at all, I don't think.
No.
Well, once.
Through two hurricanes.
Yeah. Not direct, but everything's holding up really well. All right.
So here's the outside, and this is what it looks like if you want to show it. There is a wire that wraps around here and holds it sturdy up against the tent in this direction. And I've seen in different videos different placements of the wire, but I found that having it closest to the height is the best kind of setup. It talks about hooking it here, but
I'm going to come on the other side of you.
In a wind, not even a heavy wind, it wants to slide up. So this needs to be wire because it gets hot, so you can't use a normal guy line. But this is the way I found that it seems to work best. And if you notice up on the top, we have guy lines set up to hold it from going back and forth.
Oh yeah, talk about that, the hooks up there.
It has not, in almost every video that I've seen about this, they do not use the guidelines. But the top of the thing has a place for guy lines. And
I'll tell you what, without it, it was wobbly.
Yeah, it was wobbly and literally did fall
It was
over.
dangerous, like in the wind, and I was like, yeah.
Up on top, we have a little carbiner made out of metal and tied guy lines to it. And it doesn't have to be super tight, but, and this has been up now for a good 2 weeks, I think. And I did not have to really retighten it or anything. And it's stable. It's not. It's
very stable. It's very stable. You
really
do need them. At least we found that.
I didn't even need to use a new stake. I just attached it to right here on both sides, and works great. And it's been windy and everything.
Yep.
So the chimney maybe, I think that height is high enough, but there's another section.
Oh, there's another extension.
If you needed it to be higher, we were paying pretty good attention to what was going on.
And this, just to note to everybody too, this stove was designed to work with this tent.
Yeah. So people buy the stove without it, but this kit with the 45s and this baffling and this setup is designed to work specifically with the Skyliner. And I believe they might have different hookups for different versions. But yeah, this works really good. And I guess now we'll go sit down and talk about.
I was like, what else
the
do we want to
details.
just share about
I don't
that?
think there's anything else we need to show about the setup, but I have noticed we didn't find any other videos that really showed clearly how it all went, how it goes together, and each of these pipes just slide right in and out, and they come apart. Most of them, when you put it away, most of these pieces fit inside the stove, so they're not taking up extra room, but not all of them fit inside the stove, so you still need to carry extra things. And we had to find a pretty big bin to fit the whole kit
Yeah.
in one bin. And because it does get dirty, and you
Yes.
should clean it in between uses, but because it does get dirty, you probably don't want it just laying out with other things, because there's
It's
soot.
you know, sooty, and
It's
I
sooty
would
and dirty.
suggest too that we do have a fire extinguisher right outside here, and we also, you really want to keep some hot gloves, some you know, just in case.
So
Yeah, because it gets hot, and that is one thing. That is one thing I will say. It got red hot one night, and it was freaky. It got hot. That stovepipe on the inside got pretty hot. But hang on. Oh, look, you guys. So
I went to go tighten the skyline,
oh wow.
and this is probably, I think these skylines came with the canopy.
Oh, they came with this canopy. Okay.
And you see what
Wow.
happened? So obviously,
I don't know if you can see from this angle because I'm in the shade, but
it might
It's
be a
frayed.
good, it might be, and this has been out for months.
right. So this is a perfect example of examine our stuff, because
Yeah.
we check everything just to see how things are holding up.
So we
Wow.
now know, number one, have extra.
Yes, have extra guy
But
lines.
number two, some of these ropes that come with the tents,
Not that great.
you probably should just throw out.
Yep.
And
Wow.
get something better.
That is, we probably, and you know, the funny thing is we might not have even noticed it until after it broke.
No, and actually, it is.
It's
it-
broken.
It is broken.
Yep, now it's broken. So now we know, well, we have extra guy lines.
We do have extra guys.
Yeah.
Uh,
And stakes.
but
Wow. Well, it is out here in the elements, I have to say, and it's in the sun.
But you want to have equipment that is not
That's
going
going
to
to
break.
stand up.
Right.
Yep, to the weather. But this is one of the reasons why we're doing this. Oh, look at the two little spiders up there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of daddy
Look at them all. They're all hanging out here, yeah. And we've got a little gecko friend over here too. Yeah.
So it's another point where even if you're not keeping this stuff up for long periods of time,
Check it.
when you're camping for real,
Yeah.
take in consideration the idea that, number one, let's say it only takes 10 minutes to take this down. Well, you should really be spending at least 10 minutes inspecting everything while it's up
Yeah.
to know, okay,
Yep. Now
I
what
need to
needs.
replace some guy lines, so you know before you put it away and you go to take it out the next time at your campsite in the middle of nowhere. I need, it's great to have an extra guy line, but you might need 4. You might need 8. So, these are all the things. And I'm pretty sure this is what came with the tent.
Yeah. Not the tent.
Or the
gazebo.
canopy.
The gazebo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could take a look also at the state of the other guy lines that came with the tent, the different kind of rope altogether.
And because
So these are
this was a rope that you bought
These are
separately.
these came with the tent.
Oh, this one came with the tent. Okay. Oh yeah, these are quite thick.
So
And they have the wood. And yes,
so
we need to,
obviously-
I think we need to move the mattress over a little bit, and because it's pretty hot over here. But, well, I'll just say it while I'm standing here. Let me just say, it got really, really hot in here, and to the point where it was too hot. And although it wasn't really, it was like I said, the 40s out here, but I was actually had to open my little window here because it was like I needed to get some fresh air. And it was vented. I mean, he did have.
and we'll talk.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm
We'll
just
talk a
sharing
little
it
bit
now.
more. But one of the things that happened was the fire was starting to go out, and we needed to put some more wood on.
Yes.
And I put a couple of bigger pieces of wood on, and it got so hot that
Pipe was red.
It was unbearable to be in the
You
tent.
couldn't even. Oh, it was hot.
And it was still 40 degrees, which is not freezing cold weather that you need to have a stove in the tent. But
We were just more or less testing it out.
so what do you do when it's too hot? Well, you can't take a piece of wood that's burning out, and like if you're in a campfire, you could poke it out or poke it out of the way. You can't do that in the tent. So we had to, I adjusted the stove a little bit to try to let it burn a little bit less. But we had to open the windows and get airflow in.
Yeah, it was.
So it wasn't
freaky.
smoky.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
It wasn't,
It wasn't like it was.
But it got hot.
It got hot. Like I was.
It
It was
might
like
have
a sauna. You know how
Yeah.
we're in a sauna where you get kind of it's hard to breathe. It was kind of like
So,
that.
So these are some of our experiences.
These are some of our experiences.
So let's find a place to sit down.
Oh, and the breeze is
Have a
beautiful.
good
So here's our little bit of scenery around us, and our little neck of the woods here. And autumn is just gorgeous here, just beautiful. Ooh, I'm rolling around on hickory nuts. There's our porta potty, bathroom, restroom, shower house. Okay, hang on. Let's find a place to sit. Okay.
Now we're lounging in our gazebo outside our tent.
Oh, it's
And
beautiful.
we thought that we would share what it was actually like. What are the things that we discovered about having a hot tent? So, first of all, the stove itself was great. We loved it.
It works wonderfully.
It is awesome having it. Here are some of the things that most people don't talk about. It is. Sometimes I've heard some people mention it, but it's almost like they're glossing by it. You have to keep feeding the fire. So we started up our fire when it was still a little light out.
It was still, yeah, so it wasn't quite sundown.
Because we wanted to make sure everything was working good, not leaking, not getting too hot. But we had the thing burning until I would say about 6 in the morning.
Yep.
Every hour or two, I had to add wood to the fire. And for the most part, it didn't really matter if it was a big piece of wood or a couple smaller pieces of wood. There was no way to sleep more than an hour and a half, 2 hours before you had to feed it more.
I'm going to adjust this a little bit. I feel like
So,
it's cut off.
When it's really cold, you're in a survival mode in the tent. So having the stove to survive the cold weather, and this was only about 40 degrees.
It wasn't, yeah.
So we don't like it really cold. We probably, we could have bundled up in a sleeping bag or more covers, and then okay, but we wanted to have it at a comfortable temperature and see what it was like. So at 40 degrees, it's almost at a point where maybe you
You don't really need it.
want to use
Yeah,
it.
because it was hot.
So you're up all night. Now, if we were out boondocking for a week or two in the middle of nowhere, you're not going to want to be up all night every night.
And I did get chilly when it would when it would die down.
So we would wake up because it did start to get a little cold. The stove is great because there's glass windows in it, so you could see the state of the fire. The thing that we don't like about it, though, is it's pretty bright in the tent. So if you like it to
I
be
forgot
dark,
about that too.
yeah, if you like it dark at night to sleep, you're not going to get that. And
I don't know that it bothered me that much, but I think I found that because we were waking up so frequently, then the light it wasn't really an issue, but it's like it does take you a little bit longer to settle in.
And we do have a queen size air mattress in the tent, which means, oftentimes, if you're out with buddies camping, you're not sharing the same bed. So the person, even if you had a couple people in the tent, because there's plenty of room, maybe 3 adults with the stove comfortably. But if y'all had cots, you're not waking everybody up feeding the fire. But if you were the guy in charge of feeding the fire, I would wake Wendy up because I have to get up and feed the fire, or she would wake up because she's cold anyway. So I would get up and feed the fire. Very easy to feed the fire.
Oh yeah.
It only took a couple seconds to open it up, stick another log or two in. Very easy, and the wood burned very thoroughly.
I was just gonna say it was.
So it's not like there was unburned wood all over the place. I didn't have to poke at things and move things around.
Nope.
It stays very hot inside the chamber. So as long as you have dried wood that you're using, it catches right away and starts burning again. It heats up very, very quickly. So within 5 minutes of putting wood in the fire, the tent's hot again.
The key is you can't let it go out, though.
But you can't let it go out. And the other thing is, this is the Nomad Large, which I believe is the largest version of the Winnerwell stoves. By 6 o'clock in the morning, there was so much ash built up inside that the last piece of log was not able to burn all the way through because the airflow
was inhibited by the ashes.
Filled up with ashes. Okay. So it also means that if you were in a cold weather situation where it was still cold in the morning and you were still wanted to be in the tent to make breakfast or to do whatever you're going to do, you have to clean the ashes out, which means you need a place to put the ashes, you need a place to dump the ashes somewhere around your campsite, and you have to be careful. I mean, if they're still hot, you have to be careful because we're going to try a tray, an old
and most of the time
tray.
You're going to have a campsite around you, which is, you're probably going to have a fire pit.
But you have to think about this. It's, let's say, 6 in the morning. You want to keep the thing going. You're now opening up the stove, emptying hot ashes. You then have to unzip all the things. Be very careful about bringing hot ashes out of the tent and not letting, if it's windy out, hot ashes could go blowing everywhere. So
yes,
we haven't figured out exactly the best way to do that, but even if you had
a bucket. We have a metal bucket too, but the thing is we don't want
it has to be small enough to fit below the opening.
So that's why I thought I've got an old beat up roaster pan. And I thought, that'd be perfect.
So maybe a roaster pan with a cover that you could put on it, or 2 little pans, or whatever. We'll figure that out. But it's
If you have a stove, what do you guys do?
these are the things that people don't talk about on the video. So those are a consideration. Now, of course, you know, it was getting warm by the morning, so we didn't need to keep a fire going in the tent. But if we needed to, we would have had to scrape out all the ashes, bring them out.
Which I don't
get
think
the
is all
fire
that
going.
surprising.
No.
It's just because that's the nature of having a
Right.
fire, and
So
that's how it
Any
is.
of you that have hot tents know that's just how it is. But if you're thinking about doing this for the first time, people don't talk
We'll
about
talk
that.
about regulating the temperature. Like, can you regulate the temperature with the amount of wood, with the adjustments?
It seemed to be pretty difficult. You adjust the airflow from the front of the stove. Some of the other models have the typical twisty thing that the more you twist it, the more it's open. This one does not have that. This one has 3 settings in the front of the front of the stove that opens up. It's closed all the way, open a little, open more. Now, at 40 degrees, and the wood that we're using, which is
All hardwood.
random
But
hardwood,
it's
open the second notch, and then you could swing the whole thing open, but then it's just swung open. But the second notch, which is open fully and still retained in a notch, is just too hot.
Yeah,
Too
it
much
was
air.
hot.
There's just too much airflow, and
So it works efficiently.
if you adjust the flue, it doesn't really seem to do that much.
That's what I was wondering about the
it's
flue.
supposed to, and probably, you know, with more experience, you could fine tune it a little bit better. But if you're up all night fine tuning the flue, you might as well just keep putting wood in. So the other thing is, the other setting seemed to be okay, but it only, you know, it seemed to burn up whatever wood you put in there within, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know exactly what kind of wood we were using. We have a buddy that gives us firewood. So the other thing is,
Well, he brings it. It's supposedly hardwoods.
right.
We pay for it. It's
Yeah.
not like it's free. It's just we don't know exactly
where
it is and
exactly
what
which
it
piece is
what.
It's just,
It smells really good.
yeah. So the other thing is, you might have to split it more because you don't want big hunks of firewood in there at once, and that's something we could play with. But
Mhm.
at least to get it started, you're going to have smaller pieces of wood. I haven't figured out yet if one bigger piece works better
Oh,
than
right,
than
because
a
we
bunch
haven't
of smaller
used it
pieces.
enough yet. We only
Right.
used it the one time, so we haven't had
So
a lot of
so
opportunity
this
to
stove
experiment.
is long enough this way for the typical cut wood that you would get.
Oh, that was why we bought this version of the stove,
Right.
because it fits your average. Was it
Right.
16 inches?
I believe so. So 16 or 18.
I think it's 16 inches, the
so,
average wood
yeah.
size.
So if you go to the store and buy firewood,
A bundle of firewood.
they'll fit in easily. You can put the typical bigger pieces in, but you have to have hot coals and other things to have it burn. So it also depends.
So you still need a fire starter.
Kiln dried wood and all that probably will work better. Ours is not kiln dried, but it's
It's nature.
seasoned.
It's nature seasoned.
Yeah, but it worked fine. It worked good. Controlling it, I didn't figure out any way of keeping it burning for more than a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
We could play with that more, and I could.
I mean, which is again like any other fire.
Yeah, so-
it's not like we're trying to
Right.
say, oh, it doesn't do this or it does what a fire
So
does.
on a campfire, we have
You
our
still gotta
different
keep feeding it.
campfires thing. I'm up all night feeding the fire.
Yep.
If we want to have a campfire all night, if we were
And
sleeping
we've done
out,
that. We've slept outside, out there in the open on our air mattress. And Dave just keeps feeding the fire
right.
all evening,
and in fireplaces.
in fireplaces.
We've slept next to a fireplace, and I'm up all night feeding the fire.
But
So,
it seemed like this was more frequent. And the other
yeah.
thing is it's chilly. I don't know that we would be. I don't know how many times we would really want to go on purpose winter camping, but it's nice. I mean, and cuddly, but
right. So the idea that for us is we have a big tent, we have stuff, cooking stuff. Even just the tent alone and a handful of stuff is barely going to fit in the truck. So So we already know.
So
we're going to have to pull our
cargo
trailer with the stuff. So we might as well have all the things with us that we might need. And so I have not gone like mountain camping, but sometimes, we watch certainly lots of videos.
We watch a lot of
where people
camping videos.
Might have a big tent like this, and they're in, they've been able to haul it to wherever they're going to haul it, sometimes in a boat to wherever it is. It's a beautiful 80-degree day, but, you're in the desert, it's getting cold at night. So why would you, why wouldn't we have the ability to have a warm tent if we needed it? And it's very quick to set up. It could be set up in 10, 15 minutes at most. Once you get good at it, probably less. So within 20 minutes,
you got a hot fire.
If you have wood,
and
you've got a fire ready to go.
And you can cook on it. We just haven't yet.
The
other thing is that of course we also have learned about cooking inside the tent, and we've been just kind of avoiding it because we don't need to do that. Just because of the obvious things, the cooking stuff, the smells, the splatters, attracting animals.
And so the other thing too is to retain having a fire all night. You need a lot more wood than I expected.
Oh, that's
You have to have your wood ready to go in the tent, or make a trip outside and collect more wood.
And yes, I had to get up and pee, and it was cold.
So I would say, you're putting two. Let's say the typical log that you would get, if you split that in half, you need you need two of those every hour. So from 6 to 6 is 12 hours. So that's 12 pieces of wood split in half, and then you're out of wood by the morning. So if you want to keep it going a little longer, so it did burn a lot of wood. Now some of the wood that we have seem to burn a little bit faster than other wood. I was not going to inspect each piece of wood as I put it in the middle of the night to see, what kind of wood this was and what kind of wood that was. But that's another consideration that you have to have. If you're not bringing wood in from the local store, because you're also not supposed to bring foreign wood into the area that you're going into, and you're just at a campground, in the boondocking or whatever, you're not going to find kiln dried hardwood necessarily. So you've got to make a big pile of wood, cut up, ready to go, on a constant basis of however long you're camping. So you think I've got plenty of wood all around me, but
it goes quick.
It goes quick, and now you're spending more time, during the day collecting more firewood, cutting more firewood, splitting more firewood, finding stuff
again
that's
part
dry.
of the territory, goes with the territory.
Right. but if, let's say, you had planned to camp somewhere and go on a nature hike, or go on some trails, or go see a waterfall, well, I can't do that today because I've got to collect more wood for the next 3 days. So these are all considerations. Now, we didn't even talk about the idea of, where are you allowed
I was
to
just going to
have
say
a
that
wood
because
burning fireplace in your tent?
when we went to the forest preserve,
and we're not really sure where you're allowed to.
because it specifically said
Yeah,
in some of these that
so
the only place you're allowed to have a fire is in the outside fire pit.
right, the designated
You can't
provided
have
fire pit.
a wood
So
stove fire burning inside your
right,
tent.
so it's not an open fire, but the idea that you cannot shut it off probably disqualifies it from most state parks and national forests kind of looks. I'm not really sure. I've looked at some of the regulations. It's not entirely clear, but still, I want to have the availability to not need propane, not need electric, not need gas or kerosene or any of those diesel fuel. If we're somewhere and we need to light a fire, we're going to light a fire. We're going to find wood and light a fire and do what we got to do. So not having it means we could be freezing cold and have other problems. So it's really nice to have, and certainly we could do it here.
I mean, we wouldn't have
yard.
a fire in a place that was not allowed.
No, unless it was 0 degrees out and we would die if we didn't survive.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I don't know that I'd be, honestly, you guys, I don't think I'd be doing any camping if it was 0 degrees.
Well, not on purpose.
but not
you
on
never
purpose,
know.
right.
A storm could blow in, just like we watch on some of the other, RV shows. All of a sudden, it snowed out of nowhere in a place they weren't expecting it to. Then the snow
Did that ever
melted
happen to you
and
guys?
and they were stuck because their trail was all muddy to get the RV out. So these are all things that we think about, and we're excited to investigate and
why we have so
solutions.
many alternatives. I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes it seems a little silly and overkill, and but as Dave says, he's like, well, I might as well, like buying the small propane stove, the other heater stove.
So we have another heater
which we
stove.
haven't even really done a video about, but because anyway,
we have a little like ammo can style propane heater, which we might try in the tent also, but that's not something you could leave on all night. Those are things that you need to warm up the tent and shut it off.
Yeah.
And, you shouldn't probably leave those kinds of things. Even the buddy heaters, most people don't recommend leaving it run all night. So these are some of our experiences, but it was fun.
Which is why we're doing it in our backyard first, so that we don't get caught.
It was fun. It worked. It certainly kept us warm. The other thing that we're not sure about is there will be situations where it might get a little hot. Even when it's just warm and comfortable for us, we don't know how the puppy is going to like
that was the next thing I was going to say too. When we were in there that night, I told Dave, I said, I have to open the window. I need to get some air. And I even said, I don't know how Abby, our dog, would be able to handle it.
And she is, let's just say, barely trained to be in the tent with us. Now, normally you would think just let her go outside and sleep. Well, she's not really trained or ready to want to like leave the tent and sleep on her own.
I mean, we're right here, literally outside our house. It's not. I don't think that she would really go anywhere. Honestly, I don't.
But we wouldn't have her tied up in our house here. But she would have to be tied up somewhere if we were at a particular campground.
Right.
So these are all
considerations.
There's a lot of complicated things going on.
And we're still looking for the perfect wheels and all of that and the whole RV thing. So and deciding, what is it that we really, really want? In addition to tent camping. So we've been this has been a very excellent eye-opening experience, just doing it here, realizing what we like, what we don't like, what we need, what we don't. If we wanted to just go for the weekend, what would we pack in just our truck? What could we fit? What would we want to take with us? It literally only takes us does not take us that long to set up this tent. and whether or not we would use the gazebo all the time or not, if we would need to, want to. But so yeah, we're excited to try a lot of things and love
And,
everyone's feedback.
and the main purpose of the gazebo was when it's hot out and the sun is shining and we're not under tree cover,
It's hot.
we would want to have the ability to have some shade, maybe to cook with the screens around us.
That's
so the
another
bugs
thing we
aren't-
discovered is the Alabama sun is intense.
Yeah.
I mean, literally
So-
to where if we're sitting on our front porch in the sun in the morning, it is so intense even by 8, 9 in the morning. You can't sit there, and then you go to the back of the house where it's cool and
Yeah. So even having a coffee cup sitting out in the sun, sometimes the cup is
too
too
hot
hot
to
to pick up just from the sun.
And then we come in the backyard where the cool is, and the coffee gets cold immediately because So, but yet again, here we are. We love being outside. Why we just do.
So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us, learning a little bit about hot tent camping.
Let us
would
know
say
if you have any questions.
Most of these things are not specific to the products that we're
No,
using.
they're just our experiences.
But the other thing too is there was no condensation whatsoever inside
Oh,
the tent.
no.
The tent breathed great when we had to open up the windows because it got hot. It only took a couple of minutes for it to cool
Well,
down.
I will say that is true. That is a testament to the tent itself too, because the canvas tent, it's wonderful. It stays so nice. It is. And opening the windows, it's got such a beautiful breeze in it, but it stays warm at night. And yeah, I don't think that really with our blankets and quilts, we probably wouldn't need much other covers. I don't think, but even 40 degrees Fahrenheit it's chilly to sleep in.
So we have not purchased any kind of sleeping bags. We're not sure what we want to do with
That's
that.
a whole nother thing. The whole cotton, not cotton, down, not down, nylon, not nylon, waterproof, not waterproof. I have all cotton bedding in the house. I don't have any nylon or polyester bedding whatsoever. So that is a whole nother. Oh, that's a whole other exploration. So if you guys have any comments about that, let us know.
And experienced adventurers have very differing opinions
about all of those things.
Clothing material, bedding material. So, yes, definitely let us know what you think. It might just be everybody has to try whatever
and
it
that's,
is and
I
see
mean,
what they like better.
we had I had a sheet on, and then a cotton blanket, a thin cotton blanket on that, and then I had a cotton quilt on top of that.
And most of the time we're taking the covers off.
Yeah, usually it's just too warm. So just so you know, that was the bedding that we had. We weren't using any. I think that's important as a part of the equation because that all comes into play.
And you could sleep in your shorts.
And we're on an air mattress, and the air mattress, let's face it, the air gets as cold inside the air mattress as it is outside. So there's that.
So the air mattress is we have a tarp on the ground, a ground tarp. We have the bottom of the tent, and then the air mattress.
No, I have a
cover,
blanket
underneath the air.
I have a blanket underneath the air
So
mattress.
when the tent is heated, I didn't really feel cold, but it from the air mattress.
Yes.
But it was a little.
Yes.
It was a little.
And we've slept on the ground. We've slept on actual decking, a wood deck. We've slept, in the air mattresses, a variety of sizes and kinds. What's the happy medium? Is a thinner mat better, even though you're on the ground? We don't know. That's why we're asking. So, what works better for you guys? And like I said, we watched hundreds of videos because we were just excited to learn.
If you were to camp overnight, you could use a sleeping roll, probably be uncomfortable, but be able to sleep. But we want to be able to camp, for days. So let's say we want to, we're in Alabama. Let's say we want to go to, Colorado and spend a week camping. Well, we don't want to be uncomfortable on night one. and then be even more uncomfortable on
And
night
I
2.
can't move or walk or
Yeah,
hike or nothing.
and by the time we're ready to leave, none of us could move enough to put the stuff away. So that's not fun. We don't want that. So we so far we love our air mattress.
We do. I do. I really love it.
And it's, I would say, twice as good as any other air
Any
mattress
other I've used so
that
far,
we've
yes. Mm-hmm.
So, and I know we've put links in about it on other videos.
It was just a quick one, but
maybe
why we
we'll
like it.
maybe we'll make a video about that as well.
I mean, it's just the one we picked because it's flat. It doesn't have those weird bumpy baffles anyway, we did tell our funny story about it, but
yes. So, when you're in a situation where you've got a lot of gear to bring in, this is sort of a family camping situation and not just a backpacking camping.
Well, family is just me and Dave and the dog
and the puppy.
That's our family.
Having more stuff, a bigger air mattress to have to bring into the tent, we're okay with that at this moment.
And yeah, it's a king size. No, it's not.
Queen.
It's queen. Excuse me, it's queen.
It's a queen.
I'm sorry. I don't think we found a king size one
but
we like this one. Although I have to
still
say,
need room in the tent to do stuff.
that's the other thing too. If it is a queen size bed, and we're used to having a king size bed, and then if puppy wants to sleep with us, she's not big, but she takes up some amount of room. So her sleeping with us in this queen size it's a little challenging too. So.
And she likes to snuggle up between us. So.
Yes, right between us, and that's okay. But.
So.
Anyway. Our fun.
I hope this was at all helpful. I hope we showed some things.
Much longer than we expected, but what the heck, we're having fun.
So, perhaps maybe tonight,
yes, our plan is to sleep in the tent tonight. Whether or not we need the stove or not will be another story. But I think
in this case, I might get the stove ready
and warm it up.
Just get wood ready to light if we want to, have enough wood in the tent. And remember too, if you're bringing wood in your tent from
outside
around the woods, you're bringing bugs into the tent.
Yeah, that's the other thing I don't really like. Although I've seen no bugs in this tent, none.
So you could spray whatever you want, whatever. You're bringing the bugs in with the wood.
Yep, I've been very surprised though. As you can see, we're out in the woods. There are spiders out here, but I have not seen any bugs inside the tent.
So. Maybe we'll make more videos, and we'll get things ready. So if it gets cold enough to need to light it.
I see. Right. I think it's only supposed to be like in the 50s tonight or something. Yeah, so we're okay with sleeping in.
So it might one of the procedures of staying warm might be wait until you start getting really cold and
then light it
up,
right?
And you might only need it for 4
for
hours,
the wee hours
3,
of the morning. Yeah. I find that's when I really get the coldest. Honestly, it doesn't seem to bother me until about maybe like 3 in the morning, and then it does start to feel colder.
But all that depends on the weather, where you're at. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're up in the mountains more than we are. If you're
we're
in the
sort
desert,
of at,
because the desert.
We're kind of at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. It's really mountainous around us, but not mountains like out west, for example, which we've never been. I've never been. Dave's been. I've never been out west. When I say west, I've never been west of Iowa. Anyway, you guys don't need to know that right now. So
stay tuned for more. And we love being outside.
We just love sharing our journey.
Sharing, especially because we're new to all this, and certainly it has been 20 years since I've camped in any way, shape, or form. So the new things that are out, the new types.
It's probably been that long since I've camped as well. Probably about 20 years.
Seeing from fresh eyes some of these things certainly we hope is valuable, and we want everybody to be able to get out and be in nature and enjoy the outdoors, and anything that we're experiencing that could help with that, uh, reduce the surprises that you might have, is what we're
And
trying to do.
and I'm glad you said that too, because just on a side note, I spend as much time outside and down here, and Dave does too. We're working remotely on the computer. We actually, it's not just this isn't something we only do on weekends either. We do as much as possible. Come down here, sit, enjoy the gazebo, enjoy if we can, depending on Dave's work schedule and the weather. If we can in the week, we will sleep in the tent if we're able to, if it works with our schedule. And so for us, it's not just, it is kind of a lifestyle in a sense. Even though we have a brick and mortar home, we've also, we'll tell you that story another time, but yeah. So we're going to go. We're going to enjoy your day. Actually, we're going to go visit some of the, what do they call that? The passport.
No, this is, well,
The wineries.
We're going to an Alabama wine festival.
Well, this is yes, this is the 4th annual wine festival. But the vineyards are part of that passport.
Yeah, there's a group of vineyards, but I don't know who's going to be there for sure.
Yeah, we don't, not to the festival anyway. But so we've discovered around here in Alabama there's several vineyards. So we found a really good one. We already did a video about them, and we love their wine. So we're hoping to find some other local vineyards within the next, within, I don't know, 50 miles or something. There seem to be quite a few.
I can't imagine better wine.
Oh, this is so good, you guys. So it is literally this is the best. This stuff we're drinking now from this local vineyard, best wine we've ever had. I mean, just wonderful. So, but yeah, we could talk forever because we like this. So remember, you guys, there's joy in every journey. The word journey begins and ends with the word joy. So joyous travels to all of you. We always love hearing your comments. It's just fun to hear other people's experiences and help us learn. So thanks. Take it easy and happy trails, everyone.